Hi everyone, and welcome to my July plan with me. I've had this theme idea since December and can't wait to share it with you. As you can tell from the title, it is mermaid theme and I'm using some watercolor. For the month spread, I went for something I have never done in the past, so instead of boxes, I did a single line to split each of the weeks, and I skipped doing the vertical lines. If you see this spread in the future, you'll know this worked well for me. If you don't see it in the future, you'll know it was not for me. I was really excited for the scalloped edge of this mermaid scale paper, but when I put it on the paper, I didn't love it, so I waited to cut off the edges, but I actually just removed them later. I used a mermaid stamp set and this archival ink, so the water didn't make the ink run. I'm not sure where the stamp set is from. This was a one-off one that my mom had. I used a piece of foam under the paper when I stamped it, so I got cleaner lines. I also stamped the mermaid first, then used a mask, so this little green post-it note, when I stamped the rock so it didn't show behind the mermaid. I also used this cool stamp cleaner my mom had, where you spray the cleaner on the wet side and then use the dry side on the other side to dry it. I had intentions of just coloring in the mermaid with my markers, but realized I didn't have a skin color that didn't look weird, so I ended up mixing two colors and using my brushes and then just filled in the rest with the brushes. I think it turned out way better than just coloring them in anyways, especially the highlights in the hair. When I did this shirt, I forgot that it was not watercolor paper and I had way too much water on my brush, so it ended up bleeding. I ended up turning the shirt into a cropped t-shirt and outlined it with my Micron. I think it turned out okay. Was not the best, but definitely made the best of the situation that I had. I added a monthly goal section, and since I like to have a mind, body, and soul goal, I did 3 shells on the side. I used my Tombow as the ink to make it cohesive, and also it was just convenient. I then removed the paper and replaced it with some light colored shells. The ink pad is from Close to My Heart. It shows up way darker on camera, but in person the beige is much more subtle. Also, the stamp is from another random stamp set, but you could also just draw them in or use stickers. I noticed in the summer I wasn't using 2 full pages for my week. Since I'm working a 9-to-5 office job, my weekdays are pretty empty, so I went back to the 1 page 1 week. Then just use a separate page if I have an extra long to-do list on a particular day. I did headers similar to the monthly spread, and then I believe there was 7 lines for each day. I also incorporated my habit trackers in the weekly spread, since I haven't been doing a great job at keeping up with them. Back in December, my mom was getting rid of a bunch of craft stuff, so I swiped these washi tapes. I kind of think they were from Michaels. I also cut them in banner shapes to make them look a little cleaner and more fun. Just to fill space, I wrote the start and end date for these 2 weeks. You'll notice I wrote a 4 and then realized it was for 2 weeks, so I used my white jelly roll in size 10 to fix it. Oh yeah, I finally found the size 10 one at Michael's the other day. In all my years of planning and bullet journaling, so since like grade 9 or 10, they have never once had that size, so a big win for me. I used the Micron in 02 for the days and the dates. It doesn't really show up on camera, but it's fine in person. Alright, on to the next page, and with a little magic, we're done the weekly spread. I had 1 extra page and wasn't sure how to fill it, so I found this gold anchor paper, also likely from Michael's, and I decided to turn it into a Polaroid since this is my family vacation week. I then added some washi tape and wrote Vacation 2021 along the side. So on to my last spread. This is a midpoint check-in for my yearly goals that I set back in January. Check out my new bullet journal setup if you want to see me do that. So now that half the year has passed, I wanted to do a little check-in. I wanted to leave a good amount of blank space, but I also wanted it to be cohesive with the other spreads, so I added another mermaid. It was also just fun coloring them in. This stamp has not been used yet, so my mom told me to rub it on your skin a little bit so that it gets rid of the coating and the ink sticks better. I really want to get an actual set of watercolor paints, but for now my Tombos work well. I will list all the colors I used in the blog post linked below. Also, if you want photos of the final spreads, I always post a corresponding blog post and will always be linked in the description box. I'm super happy with how this mermaid turned out. I was getting back into using my brushes and getting the right amount of water. I think these are the brand Craft Smart. They were pretty cheap at Michael's and I love the little grippy thing on the brush. The page still felt a little plain, so I decided to add a piece of paper. I like how this one turned out so much. The page is from a paper pack that I got years ago, but I'm sure you can find something semi-similar. I added the title and finished off with some more of those shell stamps, again using my Tombow for ink. And here's the final flip through. I hope you folks enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a like, and I will be back later this week with another video. Bye!